Hi everyone, it's Justin here, Voices for Voices. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're watching, listening with us here in the United States or across the world. We value your time, your love, and support. Thank you for that. We are going to jump right in into this particular episode, and we're going to talking about practicing versus not practicing. And this comes in so many different forms. Uh, I can think back to, well, being a being a student, growing up, uh, working with my mom and dad on homework, on reading, and then if read a certain portion of a book or did the specified homework, then I'd get a little star or a little, sticker star, or it could be a smiley face. And one thing that I really liked, because I love pizza, is it was called, I think, the Book It, and it was through Pizza Hut. And at the end of like the grading period, you could take your report card in, show it to them, and then you could get, a personal pan pizza for free in return for that. So there was, uh, I'd say that was probably the biggest incentive that I had uh, when it came to reading. And that's a form of practice. So practice reading at home, doing math at home, other subjects at home. Really prepared me and the class and all the students for what was to come in the class. So all the way back, all those years ago, we're talking 35 plus years ago. But Pizza Hut did away with this book it program. I don't know why, probably because they don't want to give away free things. I don't know. But that was a cool incentive because, you know, ask any kid that doesn't have allergies to any of the ingredients in the pizza. Uh, if they like pizza, and I would think a high percentage of those kids, those children, would say yes. So it's all about practicing or not. If I didn't practice, I would have an empty space on, my card, and so I would get points deducted. The class could have 1,000 points or 500 or whatever the number is, and points got deducted if we didn't do our homework. And that, I would say, led into uh, getting older, into middle school, high school, college, where where we can make the decisions as excuse me, as students. We weren't going to get a star sticker. We weren't going to get a free pizza. We just needed to do the practice at home. at the dorm, uh, at the apartment, at the house, wherever. Just like nobody was going to wake us up. And if you are like me and love your sleep, it's easy to go, oh, I don't want to wake up for that 8 o'clock class. I don't want to wake up for this 9 o'clock class. Maybe I take a nap in the afternoon. Oh, I don't want to go back to class at 2 p.m. or 3. Uh, but that really molds us into who we are. Some more than others. It took me a while to kind of get on the wagon of, okay, Justin, telling myself, you need to get to class. Like, there's going to be time to party. There's going to be times for that. You just need to get to class. Do what you're here for. You're here to get an education. And even if you're going to the trades, then you're learning, showing up when you need to. If you're in a apprentice program, making sure you show up for everything you need to there. Because in the end, we want people to vouch for us, to say, yeah, I'll write a letter recommendation to you, for you, that hopefully helps land a job. And if we haven't practiced, we didn't do the work we were asked to do. We just tried to skate by. A teacher could have a different answer. They could say, I don't write letters or recommendation. And emotionally and mental health wise, that could really send us into I don't know, like a dark place. Like, oh, they don't like me, they won't help me. When we just need to look in the mirror sometimes. And that's where the work starts. Have to have a reason. If you don't have a reason, you're going to find it very difficult to do. I've done it. I failed. I failed miserably. And then there's times where I didn't fail miserably. But it sure took a heck of a lot of time to figure out what I cared about professionally. I mean, as I sit here, 44 years old, it's taken a betterment of 35, 40 years till I really got it down, I think. And again, I think God wants me to do the work with Voices for Voices. Maybe not. I don't know. But right now, I feel the calling to help a lot of people. And so all those presentations that I gave in my classes, if I wasn't have prepared for those, or there were many times where I didn't prepare, where you might hear people say, "Oh, I'm just gonna wing it." Basically means that I didn't prepare. I'm part of a group and I'm just gonna do my part and be done. Or if it's an individual presentation and you or I have to do all the work ourselves. Teachers can tell, so can parents. And so through all those, I'll say, ups and downs, I remember, oh my gosh, my first class, my first communication class. There were three different presentation types. One was persuasion, informative, and I can't think of the third one, but there were three different presentations. So it was literally like a 100 class or a 101, which is you can't get past, you've got to take this class before you can take other classes in the major, uh, a business or marketing, where I ended up marketing management. And I remember asking people, I got some interesting feedback. Like, what do you do? I'm so worried. I'm so frightened to get up in front of a class. And this was, I don't want to say only, but there's only maybe 15, 20 students in there, add in then the professor. So it wasn't like there were hundreds of thousands of people, but it was the first time that I was like, what do I do? How do people, and now I know what coping mechanisms are. But back then in college, I didn't. So I asked people, one person said that go for a walk, get some fresh air. That was probably the best one that I got. The second one was run up and down the stairs and tire yourself out because that's basically, that adrenaline is kicking in because you got so much energy. And then the last one was have a, because I was 20, over 21 at the time, was, drink, have some alcoholic beverages before you go and give your presentation. I forget what I ended up doing on that presentation in particularly, but I got a wide range of options. But all that came down to was practice. So yeah, I there are times where I drank alcohol before presentations. Obviously not the best choices. Luckily, I didn't get caught, uh, or it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Uh, so when we move on from that, and then I had the next presentation, then the next, I would still be nervous. I would still be, I don't say shell shocked but I would still get nervous. And what it really came down to over the years was the more you know, or the more that I know about the presentation, right? We can rehearse and then read it off a teleprompter if we need to. But if we're not gonna do the teleprompter, which a lot of people don't have access to one, uh, plus you're being graded by eye contact and all those, different areas. Uh, doing a teleprompter wouldn't probably work very well for that class, or a class like that. But what I was finding was the more that I practiced, and I remember this vividly. I had a pretty big presentation, and I actually got some good advice. Was I think we can get into one of these like auditorium type of settings that were set up for speakers. And so there was like a podium and then a microphone, or where a microphone would be. And then there was probably room for at least a couple hundred people. And so I went with my roommate at the time and I practiced a couple of times. Wasn't great, wasn't flawless at all, but that repetition of practice, of again understanding the content, like it just goes into like the more you go over it, the more you understand it. The more you understand it, the more confident you're going to sound. The more confident you sound, the better, I guess, that people will be able to follow along and may lead to a higher grade. And so that's what I've found over the years, whether it was in school, out of school. I remember right out of school, I'd be on, conference calls, and like nowadays it's just standard procedure. It's just the way it is. Uh, but I remember first job out of school and being in a room and had to, and the interview process, right? You have to sell yourself or try to get that job. I've had so many interview opportunities, and I'm sure I sounded nervous. I probably stuttered. I probably got sweaty. I probably got disoriented. Uh, it's just the way it is as individuals. But what I've found is the more practice, first off, you have to like what you're doing. You have to like the topic or topics. So that's where, when we talked about in a previous episode, we have to do what we want to do in life, not what somebody else wants us to do, or what a significant other or a roommate, or you get the gist of it. We have to do what we want to do. So it starts there, right? Because if we like what we're doing, we're gonna probably spend a little energy and time on that particular topic or adjacent topics. And if we do that and we're asked to give a presentation or give an update, aside from the introduction of, hi, my name's Justin Allen Hayes, and here's my background, and I'm here to talk about baseball or whatever, whatever the topic is, or multiple topics. So if we like what we do, if we like what we do, there's going to be hard times, always going to be hard times. But in general, if we like what we're doing, it's going to make us want to give a good presentation. And so we're probably gonna practice. Here we are back to practice. Yeah, you hear a dog barking. We have dogs in the neighborhood. I think a lot of neighborhoods do. So you'll hear that. And so when we like what we do, we're gonna put the energy and time into that. And then it comes down to practice. I can't tell you how many times I've put notes together or even like a script like preparation, like written down, typed up, printed out. Then it comes to the delivery method. Do we read it monotone? Like, hi, my name is Justin Allen Hayes. Or do I say, hey, everyone, thanks for including me. Nice to meet everybody. My name's Justin Allen Hayes. It's just one way. I'm just going right off the cuff. And years ago, I couldn't do that without feeling like I was having a panic attack. So that's where the mental health came in. Because there were some topics that I didn't really care about. But again, if you're getting paid by a company and that's what they do, and that's what management's telling you you have to do, well, you don't have a whole lot of choice. And I mean, I had panic attacks all the time. I still get them, not as frequently, but I get them. I think a lot of us get them. So by practicing, that helps us get closer to something. Previous episode, check it out. What are we getting closer to? So we do the practice, we do the hard work. We're probably going to end up with a better grade, uh, appear more confident, and I can't tell you from a couple minutes ago how many times when I talked about, putting like a script kind of together. I can't tell you how many times at kind of the beginning stages of my presenting career, how many times once I learned what I was talking about that I didn't have to read I didn't have to read off a slide in PowerPoint or another like program. I didn't have to read the script verbatim. That was because I internally liked the topic or topics, and it was nerve-wracking, yes, leading up to the presentation as I started to get my feet under me. Yes, it was nerve-wracking. But then, for whatever reason, I don't know how, I don't know why, once I got started, then it was like, oh, wow, I know what I'm talking about to a better extent. And so I didn't have to rely on notes as much. If there were key points, key areas that I wanted to make sure I mention, I would make sure to include, and I would make sure that I look down to find those, highlight them, circle them, underline. And so all those presentations, all those years, all those panic attacks, all the mental health challenges that I still battle each and every second of every single day, I'm able to do something that I really enjoy with Voices for Voices, helping others. Yeah, I'll go there. So sometimes people ask me, how do you get started? And like, why are you so passionate about helping people? I mean, I don't have a really good answer, but I could tell you, give you this example of might have been part of the feel that I needed to say to myself, Justin, feels good when you do this. And this, oh my word, 22, 23, maybe 24 years ago, a while ago, let's call it that. So I was in a relationship and we like baseball. So we went to a baseball game. There's a hot dog vendor that we would go to when I would go to the ball game with my family because the hot dogs were inexp less expensive than buying inside the ballpark. So that's what we do. We drive up, we park, and we go to the hot dog stand. That's what we would do. So the relationship I was in at the time is not the relationship I'm in now. So it's not my wife. we we were in line at the hot dog vendor, and I had seen over and over and over and over again because we would, go to quite a few games a year, and there always seemed to be a veteran. And I'm not saying a veteran deserves any additional help, but if they've fought in a war, if they've completed their military service here in the United States, that's part of what allows baseball games and so many other things go on and keeps us safe. So there's a veteran. He was he had lost a limb and he was always in the same spot. So we're in the hot dog vendor line. We get up, we order our hot dogs. What would you like on them? And then I ordered an extra one. And then I told the person I was in a relationship with, I said, hey, I'm going to go over here and give this person a hot dog. I don't know if he's eaten today, but I'd rather give something tangible like food for nutrition. I mean, we can say how nutritious hot dogs are, but that's beside the point. The deal was I went over and I gave this person a hot dog. And I said, are you hungry? And he kind of nodded. And I said, here, I got a hot dog. If you want mustard or ketchup, I got a packet. Uh, but I just wanted to get this for you. So small in the grand scheme of things of life. And the person I was in a relationship with was like, well, why did you do that? I was like, because I don't know if he's eaten. And the hot dogs are, again, very inexpensive. So I didn't have to spend $15 or whatever they charge now. And then I felt good because I helped somebody. And so when I got the, well, why'd you get him a hot dog? Like, why didn't you just keep it? It just got me thinking, like, maybe that's something that maybe that'll come in handy sometime. I don't know. Like I said, 20 years plus ago that this occurred. And so it's little kind gestures like that. It's the presentations and the practice that all comes together, fuses together into who we are. So practicing is very important. I'm learning that more and more every single day, how important practice is. So give it a try, whatever that is for you. Something you like, just give it a try. Give it two or three tries or four or five if you can, because practice is going to help you feel more confident, and your confidence is going to show to others. And I'm doing all this with all these mental health challenges. I mean, I got a laundry list of diagnoses. So by all intents and purposes, I shouldn't be able to do a show. I shouldn't be able to talk. Not not trying to say that I'm the best speaker at all. I'm not. But I'm better than if I never tried. And what really matters is to me. If I feel like I've tried, I've given it my all, that's all that matters. There's going to be all kind of noise, chatter, no matter what. So stay true to yourself. Once you find what you like, what you enjoy, what you feel you're called to, maybe try it and practice, and then practice maybe a little bit more. And then one day you can be teaching others how you learned, how you practice. And that's the goal. And that's that what's called paying it forward is I'm sharing my story, my experiences with you so that you're able to share your experiences with others. And that, my friends, is how we're going to reach and help at least 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Follow us on socials. Give us a big thumbs up, like, follow, subscribe, share, and we can do it. I know we can. Have a great day. Let's celebrate all the voices in the world. And let's not only be a voice for ourselves, but maybe there's somebody else that may 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 need or may want to share their voice. And maybe you can be that lifeline, that person that helps that individual or individuals share their voice. So until next time, Justin Allen Hayes, Voices for Voices. We'll talk to you. We'll see you very, very, very soon. Bye bye for now.